Lyris was right. This camp is crawling with the Ice Reach Coven. And they're definitely producing the medallions here. I was even able to slip away with one. We need to... There's more to figuring out this magic than just watching from afar. I need to know exactly how they go about creating them. With your help, we can learn everything about that here in this camp. It's a landing site for the boats coming from the island of Ice Reach. Plus, they're collecting something here that goes into the process of creating the medallions. If you can get me to the center of the camp, I can learn what that is. Determining how they create these medallions will be an enormous help. The Grey Host has accelerated their plans. They need more medallions for a reason. A big harrow storm is coming. We need to be ready. Because the Grey Host is guarding something down there. I couldn't get close, but it appeared that they built the camp to surround something. Plus, I heard a few of the witches talking. Complaining, really, about needing to prepare more medallions. In the First Era, an army of vampires and werewolves tried to conquer the land before they were stopped in Bankurai. They called themselves the Grey Host. It seems this Rada al-Saran has resurrected the army.
Yeah!
Corpses? What do they have to do with the medallions? Let's examine the nearby graveyard. Examine the headstones. Let's determine what's so special about the exhumed bodies.
The end approaches swiftly. We must hurry.
Why are these particular graves so important? Finished? Have you come to any conclusions? Well, we've both been over the headstones with a fine-toothed comb. If we can determine why the Coven dug up these particular bodies, it will tell us something about how the medallions were enchanted. Of course. Compare notes and look for commonalities. You have the makings of a fine scholar, my friend. Now, let's see. I noticed there were a mix of different races buried here. They weren't all Nords. Anything strike you about the departed? They did. Tell me more. Well, yes, but so were the bodies that weren't disturbed. We're trying to determine what the exhumed corpses have in common, remember? There must be something else that we're missing. Of course. Compare notes and look for commonalities. Well, we've Of course. Really? What was that? No, that's not right. Every headstone... Of course. They did. Tell me more. Of course. Why didn't I see that? The headstones on the exhumed graves all mentioned that the person was old when they died. Let me think. Some necrotic spells require the remains of the elderly. Something to do with the natural decay of life. According to one necromantic theory, the older a living thing becomes, the more necrotic energy it naturally acquires. As a body grows old and withers, the life inside it decays. Necrotic energy is the byproduct of this deterioration. I now know enough about how they create the medallions to move my research along. I'll return to the Blue Palace and start putting an elixir together. To fully craft an elixir to defend against the Harrowstorms, I still require a sample of refined netherroot brew. Plus, we need to determine what the Grey Host has planned. Help Lyris and Svanna at the other camps. Then meet me at the Blue Palace. Princess Svanna is braver than I imagined. That just leaves Lyris's attempt to acquire a sample of the refined netherroot brew from the Midland camp. Head there.
The hour of our triumph draws near.
Yeah! Yeah!
They say Agronians can smell skin stealers. Must be why they went after the lizards first.
Another dead soldier and no sign of our supplies.
Well?
Just arrived. Don't worry, I found something to keep me occupied. A bold move, setting up camp in the midst of the Western Halls. I'll say this for the Grey Host. They aren't afraid to draw attention to themselves. I learned a few things while I was waiting for you to show. It's just as we thought. The Grey Host is using this camp as a supply depot for their raids across the countryside. I saw stacks of witch pikes, rows of reliquaries, and jars of what I assume is the refined nether. Right. And I heard the camp leader, a nasty creature named Sableye, tell his troops to make sure to use the new supply that just arrived from Blackreach. Let's go grab it. No jars in this cart. Let's try another one. Not this cart either. I hope we didn't miss it. Sableye has the brew. Let's find him before he gets away. Leaving?
Yeah!
Fine. Let me know when you're ready to get back to it.
You know what the Grey Host does with spies? We eat them.
You got a jar of the refined brew? Let's talk over here. Luck was with us. After all this trouble, Fen better be able to use it to make his elixir. I'll take the jar of refined netherroot brew to Solitude. We'll meet up in Svanna's chambers when everyone gets back from their missions. We got what we need from this camp, and since Fen and Svanna are already on their way back to Solitude, we might as well head there too. Go on. I'll meet you at the Blue Palace. In addition to the refined netherroot brew, Fen needs information on the Ice Reach Coven medallions. Plus, we're hoping to learn more about the big storm the Grey Host has planned. Help Fen and Svanna at the other camps, then meet me in Solitude. I suppose congratulations are in order. Just remember, we still have a long way to go to end the threat of the Grey Host. For now, let's get back to the Blue Palace.
There are the Nords who have no fear of the butchery of the Reach.
So, do we have a way to defend against the Harrow Storms, or what?
The elixir should do what we need, provided neither Fen nor I made any miscalculations.
Yolen, don't be so negative. The elixir will work. We'll see. Oh, good. You're back. Mjolin and I have been discussing the various ways to turn what we've got into a protective elixir. I'm hesitant to get too excited, but I think we've figured out how to defend against the Harrow Storms. The Grey Host uses an unstable mix of alchemy and sorcery to create the Harrow Storms. An arcane ritual and the netherroot brew focus the power of each Harrow Storm through the prepared witch pikes. Ingenious, but we can use the refined brew as the basis of our elixir. Now that we understand how the Harrow Storms are created, we can use those same components to replicate the medallion's protective properties. We just need to gather the... Svanna's associate, Mog, will procure most of the supplies I need, but there's one final ingredient required. For various reasons, I can't simply walk into the Hall of the Dead and claim it myself. I need you to acquire Arcane, a holy ointment associated with a god that became popular due to imperial influence. It's used by the priests in the Hall of the Dead to provide protection against necromancy and the undead. We need that oil.
You'll need my help.
I'll meet you at the Hall of the Dead. Mog, put away the tankard and get the supplies Fen requires.
Gods, more refugees arrive by the hour. Why does Fargrim hesitate?
The High King issues
Desvana,
all they do
what
is
can I
block
do
away
for
the
you,
Princess.
Your Highness?
When will we strike back?
Listen to my friend, High Priest. We need your help.
I'm surprised to see the princess here. As you can see, the influx of refugees has made this place much more hectic than usual. Is there something I can... Sacred oil? Strange. That's the second time today someone has come seeking Arke's anointing balm. Sword Thane Athlet arrived with an edict from the king. Demanded our entire supply. How we're to consecrate the dead without it, I have no idea. The Sword Thane wouldn't say. He just mentioned that the High King needed it to defend Solitude. I'm sorry I can't comply with the princess's request. Things are hard enough that these refugees must take shelter here. The Sword Thane took the oil to Castle Dower. That's where all the supplies for a siege are gathered during periods of strife. I pray that Solitude's foundation began with the construction of Castle Dower. It's the oldest structure in the city, and the most defensible. I tried to move the refugees there for safekeeping, but my request was denied.
Progress is slow, but steady.
Hold! Castle Dower is... Sesvana.
Sword Thane, our business is urgent. My friend will explain.
I don't have time for the princess's proclivities right now. The High King... We barely keep up with the multitude of tasks, so speak quickly and let me get back to it. My orders from the High King were clear. Stockpile the entire supply of sacred oil in the Temple of the Divines here within the confines of Castle Dower. What in Shore's name does the princess need with holy oil anyway? Protection? Truly? The Herald already outnumber my soldiers, and more arrive every day. Still, giving you the oil would violate the High King's edict. I suppose if I happened to look the other way for a moment, I wouldn't notice if a flask
A single flask? Fen will have to make do. Let's get it back to...
Sword Thane, by his work! I gave strict orders, yet my daughter freely enters the castle grounds. What do they want, Sword Thane?
They,
We came to offer our assistance, Father. Sword Thane, how can we help?
Athlet has everything well in hand, child. Despite your intentions, you would only hinder our efforts. Go! The sword thing doesn't need my daughter or her wastrel underfoot.
My father's never been what I'd call a warm and caring parent. But this crisis has made him even more distant. Let's get this sacred oil to Fen. My father will certainly change his attitude once we present the He's trying to protect me. It's what he does. And leave me out. Though I suppose that's mostly my own fault. I know Mother's death weighs on him. As does this entire crisis. That's why we have to help. This elixir is... It's not that unusual. Castle Dower is the most defensible part of the city. In the past, we'd gather the people inside the walls. Now my father is using the fortress to house the Herald. They need to go somewhere, right?
Yeah!
What?
Once it's ready, I'll test the elixir.
As you say, Lyris. Ah, here they come now. You have the sacred oil? Add it to the cauldron. Yes, a perfect fusion. It's ready to be tested. Come, let's talk. With the addition of the sacred oil, the elixir is complete. Before we produce enough to distribute to the people of Western Skyrim, we need to test it. I'm confident of my work. But we're dealing with power. We can't wait for the next Harrowstorm to strike. But what you and Svanna learned in Blackreach might help. You heard that Exarch Ulfra was testing Harrowstorm rituals in a place called the Undergrove. We'll go there and let Lyris drink the elixir. During my explorations of Blackreach, I came across an ancient burial site, a place called the Midnight Barrow. This Undergrove must be inside those ruins. Once there, you and Svanna keep watch from a safe distance. From what I could tell, the Midnight Barrow sank into Blackreach in the distant past. Somewhere in its chambers, we'll find the Undergrove. The ruined barrow is in the Lightless Hollow, in the northwest portion of the cavern. We're going to find an active Harrowstorm in the Undergrove, or I'm going to attempt to replicate one in there. Then Lyris drinks the elixir, exposes herself to the dark magic, and we wait to see what happens. Very risky. But it's also our best chance to counter the Harrowstorms and fight back against the Grey Host. Either Lyris comes through fine, or she transforms into a herald.
What?
Wolf attacks? Ghosts? Reachman raids? I'm getting out of this town.
Wolves of ice and bone attacked Brune, my lady, and he saw ghosts.
Ghosts? No. Those Reachmen defiled our barrow. If not for the Eastern Half-Giant and her...
You're not one of these tomb robbers. Or another ghost. I've had my fill of... mainly one ghost, honestly. A distant ancestor. Every time I try to sleep, he's in my dreams. I've barely had an hour's rest since I came to Dusktown. It's going to kill me if it doesn't drive me mad first. To put him to rest, I think. He's being tormented as much as he's tormenting me. I came to this terrible place to find his remains, but the tomb robbers have angered the dead, and I'm terrified to step foot into the barrow alone. Damned ancestor is the traitor Jarl, Hagridden. He was buried alive in the Midnight Barrow long before I was born. Unfortunately, he has no tomb, and what's left of him has been scattered around by these Draugr thieves. My family only speaks his name to curse it. I'm told he betrayed his hold, so he was cast into the Midnight Barrow with other exiles and traitors, far out of reach of Sovngarde. I can't say whether he deserved that, but I know he suffered for it. Call it a feeling. What I've seen in my dreams are a jumble of incoherent events and feelings. There's little that I remember that makes any sense, but when I wake, there's a pall that hangs over me, like I've been wronged somehow. This place, I think. I've only seen glimpses of it in my dreams. It used to be a place where terrible criminals were exiled to be forgotten, until it met the same fate. Faded into myth, just like Blackreed. Ghouls picking the bones of the dead. Necromancers and the like. They seem to be the ones who found this old lost barrow. I don't know what they came here for, but they've disturbed Jarl Hagridden, and gods know what else.
Stay put until we clear a path to the undergrowth.
Fine. Just don't take all day.
This is it. Look lively and let's get on with it.
woman asking for?
That's the wrong way. If you have something else more important to do, fine. I'll just wait here.
I saw my ancestors' remains in my dreams, but I only know roughly where they are.
Thought no one would find out? That none of us would survive? One is enough to expose your treason.
I gave no such order!
I have your betrayal, penned in your hand and stained in our blood!
So that was his crime? Sending his soldiers into a trap?
Hagridden has a matter of urgency for you to attend to.
What does he know to send us this far into the Reach?
You have your orders, Thane. I trust you know enough to carry them out.
Who was she to be bossing a Thane around? Careful of the Draugr. They'd sooner make a corpse of you than talk.
For your treason against your hold and your people, we cast you from the halls of your ancestors. May they never know your name.
I did not betray my hold. She's the one who should face your judgment.
Seal him in.
Oh, gods! I can feel his terror! It's suffocating! None of the souls in this horrid pit received a proper burial. Neither will we if we aren't careful. How many bones are down here? How many were left to die down here?
This must be the place. I'll go back and get...
No need. We're here.
The princess insisted.
We followed at a safe distance and only advanced after you cleared the way. From this point on, we stay together. And that's an order.
Yes. What she said. Now, let's enter the Undergrove. Find where they're experimenting with the Harrow Storms.
You honor your presence, my king.
Grey Host, stay quiet and listen.
This Harrow Storm must be the biggest we have ever wrought, my sister-in-arms.
That's the leader of the Grey Host.
Have we heard from Solitude? Is everything in place?
I have been assured the city is ripe for harvest.
Rada al-Saran and Exarch Ulfra. Should we postpone the test?
Certainly not. The holds are counting on us. Besides, we might be able to end this threat right here and now.
Dares intrude. You, the murderers who killed our beloved Singalis.
And you're about to join him.
Impudent mortal! You will pay for your crime. Now for the rest of his words.
My king, allow me the honor of spilling their blood.
Very well, sweet son. Join me in Greymoor. Tasks.
Let this Harrow Storm flay the flesh from your bones.
Svalda, no!
Pray your elixir works.
It's time for the elixir to do its job.
I think it worked. I stood in a Harrow Storm and nothing happened. Fenn's elixir is a success. And we took out another one of the Grey Host leaders. We've done good, my friend. Never better. We need to create as much of the elixir as possible and distribute it throughout Solitude before Rada al-Saran's massive Harrow Storm hits. I also want to find out who in the city is helping him. Let's meet back at the Blue... Once my father understands that we have a way to protect against the Harrow Storms, he'll have to take us seriously. Let's get back to the city as fast as we can. I know, right? It happened so quickly. When we confronted Rada al-Saran and Exarch Ulfra, the Vampire Lord blasted Lyris with his magic. When I saw her fall, I knew I had to act. It certainly gave us a fighting chance. When she called forth the Harrowstorm, I grabbed the elixir from Lyris and barely thought about what I was doing. I just drank it down and walked into this... I don't disagree, but somebody had to do it. There wasn't any other option. And I'd do it again. My people are counting on me.
Anything I...